turns out to be, if not successful, a foundation for life in everything we do. So, so as a parent, uh, all of us are here today. We want you to enjoy this camp. We want you to listen, learn, and participate. We want you to think of this as another layer in the foundation of becoming the best baseball player that you can be. But more importantly, it's building relationships. And we have an older son who's 22, went through the same process and eventually became a professional baseball player. But we said to him when he was starting out that make friends, work together, listen to each other. You're all in this together. It's too tough a sport not to be able to think you're entitled or you could do it by yourself. That's why this is a team sport. It takes 9 players and all the other players on the bench, led by your coaches and or managers eventually. So the next 4 or 5 days will lay the foundation for this summer, but also lay the foundation for the rest of your lives and career. Because our family truly believes that MVP does 2 things exceptionally well. They and the coaches that they bring in coach the game of baseball and coach it with the foundation of fundamentals. And number 2 is they teach life skills and they teach character and they teach sportsmanship and a love of the game and how to do it the right way. So by the time you leave even one session this week, you should be better young men and you should be better baseball players. And if you're not, it means that you're not fully invested. The staff is invested, the coaches are invested, your parents are invested. Now it's up to you. The currency you get is now an opportunity for you to invest in your future. So the reason that we're here is we love the game of baseball. I was blessed to start out at the age of 7 in Tampa, Florida. My dad was a Greyhound bus driver, and he came home one night at the end of March 1956, and he said, "Want to skip school today?" I said, "Yeah, hey, great. What are we going to do?" "Well, I got a charter tomorrow to pick up the Brooklyn Dodgers at the Tampa airport and take them to St. Petersburg, Florida," which was a spring training site, "and play the Yankees in an exhibition game." And most of the mature guys here know that the Dodgers had beaten the Yankees the previous fall for the first time and they were world champions. So the next day I actually got to meet Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella and Gil Hodge, all these great Dodgers who were world champions. And I got to see Mickey Mantle hit home runs in batting practice into the Bay in St. Petersburg. Every kid loved Mickey Mantle. I mean, he was rippling muscles and blonde hair, and I think he was clocked at 3.6 going to first base from the left side. That's pretty fast. I did that once. But that day, I sat on the bench and I got to lug the heavy bats, and Jackie Robinson literally sat on my lap. He wasn't looking, and I listened to the great shortstop. And most of you guys are going to have to Google these names. But Petey Reese was the captain of the great Dodgers, and he was next to Gil Hodges, great first baseman. They were talking about the pitcher holding the ball a certain way, and for a curveball and a fastball. And many years later, I would learn that if he brought it up this way, it was a fastball, and if he brought it up this way, it was a curveball. But what they were doing, and maybe it's a lost art, but in a spring training game at the end of March, they were watching a Yankee pitcher who they may face in the 7th game, late in the game in the World Series 6 months later. And they were using this as knowledge to remember that if the pitcher went like this and Peary was up with guys on second and third, he knew it was going to be a curveball. With less than 2 outs, he was going to hit that ball to the right side and get the run in and just may win the World Series. So pretty heady stuff for a kid at that age. But that day was my day where I listened and I learned, and I started Little League 2 weeks later, and I tried to do the things that those Dodgers were doing. So over the years, they liked my dad, and I got a chance to be a bat boy for the next 7 or 8 years, and then take that knowledge and take it with me and go on and play like well, the old days when you played two sports in college, football and baseball. But I look back now, and Sean knows, and his brother Ryan, when I tell them, trust me, and like most of you kids, you know, mom and dad, you kind of get deaf ears, but I've always told them, I think I have the answers to the quiz, just trust me on them. And for all of you guys, these men who are going to coach you this week and teach you have the answers to the quiz. And when they ask you to tweak this or tweak that, or maybe get that behind down, or maybe come over the top a little bit, or maybe drop down here on a breaking ball if you're a pitcher, or shorten your stride to get that breaking ball in there, give it a try. You know, give it time. What they're telling you is what they've found to be successful in the young players that they've coached. And our college coaches, and because, like Harry said before, this is a week of being in an environment that that's your goal. You know, it's not necessarily major leagues, it's not being a professional. We have learned and firmly believe that you go one step at a time. It's great to dream, but reality is the next step. It's starting for your high school. It's getting to go to college and playing in college. And if you play in college and do well enough and develop your skills, maybe it's professional baseball. But it's one step at a time in a great environment that you'll get a chance to learn this week. And get to know each other. I think that's the key. Get to know each other. You're building a network of relationships, and you'll meet each other for years to come. I mean, I just met somebody the other day that I played a game in Atlanta, Georgia, my sophomore year in high school in a regional tournament. I mean, that's what happens in the world of sports. Any questions for me right now? Anybody thought I should be taller? You thought maybe I was 6'2"? I was telling one of the dads I have a better strike zone at this size. But good luck to all of you. It's an honor to be in front of you again. From one dad and mom to all the other ones, this is a journey that we're on. It's a blink of the eye from the time that they were 12 and that first traveling team, and now they're sophomores or juniors, and the future is ahead. And you'll blink, and all of a sudden you'll go, wow, what happened to those years? So good luck, and God bless all of you. Thank you. All right, well, look, we're going to